Chi-Squarw Test. Chi-Squarw Test is used to determine whether your data are significantly different from what you expected. For example, if nakay makitaan nga nag-uban ka, maiglaki, niya kay chismis maka nagpis kay ka moto la nakay nagprocess nga basit bigyan to sila o chika kay mo kay mag-uban sila niya na-expect ka nga na sila yung relation isagwa niya moto kung ipanabi niya nga na so pag-gather na ni mong information mao ni mag-determine if katong gi-expect mo tinuod ba to or di. Actually, there are many types of Chi-Squarw test, but these two were the only common utilized as statistical tool to solve Chi-Squarw test of independence and Chi-Squarw test. Chi-Squarw goodness fit test. Ang kalahian sa duha ang Chi-Squarw goodness fit test kay isa ra ka variable ang gigamit while ang Chi-Squarw test of independence kay duha. Ayun ang thing. Chi-Squarw test of independence meaning independence from the word independence kanang magkaya na niya nga siya isa na kaya ay tagsa-tagsa sila why was siya partner was siya kuan pero duha siya ka variable meaning ang katagsa ka variable di siya related panangitan sa rows and column laylahi siya. There are two categorical data of Chi-Squarw test of independence, the ordinal and the nominal. Ordinal data, okay, na ay rank, na ay order, the word order. Ang nominal data, kay maora ang subject sa atong data. Nominal man. Walay order, walay rank. And then, please identify the picture that is used. For example, if nominal ba ni or ordinal. In this example, what specific data is this? Right.
It is nominal. How about this one? Very good.
Now, before we proceed sa unsay unod sa atong topic, let us first know the basic key terms na atong magamit sa atong running Chi-Squarw test. Now, rows, hibong sa ng rows. Ang rows, kanang pasaka ang direction. While ang columns, kanang pahigda. Manay columns.
Steps for defining the Chi-Squarw test. Number 1 is define null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. So in alternative hypothesis suggests that there is a relationship between variables, while the null hypothesis is the contradictory to the alternative hypothesis, which suggests that there is no significant relationship between variables. Number 2 is state alpha. It is given that A equals 0.05. Number 3 is calculate degrees of freedom. So degrees of freedom equals row -1 times column -1. And then number 4 is start decision rule.
Now, are you ready to have fun?
Okay, our sample problem here is the table below shows the average number of hours students spent studying for classes each day in high school. Is the average number of hours dependent on the type of student? Use a 5% significance level. Okay, the first step that we're gonna do is define the null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. Okay, our step 1. Okay, null hypothesis. Of ngayon kayo tag null hypothesis, it is the relationship between the variables are not related. Meaning, a null hypothesis is independent siya. So, ang symbol sa null hypothesis is H sub O. Okay, sa alternative hypothesis is the relationship between the variables are related. If may nun kanitag alternative hypothesis, dependent siya. Okay, ang symbol sa alternative hypothesis is H sub A. Okay. Pangitaon na to ang atong null hypothesis ug alternative hypothesis sa atong problem. Okay, the null hypothesis here is the average number of our students spend studying is independent on the type of student. While ang atoang alternative hypothesis is the average number of hours students spend studying is dependent on the type of student. Okay, kaya naman tayo sa itong step 1. Okay, step 2 na ta. Step 2. Okay, our step 2 is state the alpha. Okay, sa itong problem, use a 5% significance level. So, our alpha here is equals to 0.05. Okay, kaya nakuha naman ito itong alpha. Kinanglan na ito i-calculate ang degrees of freedom para makuha na ito ang critical value. Okay, step 3. Step 3 is calculate the degrees of freedom. Okay, ang formula to calculate the degrees of freedom is df is equal of number of rows minus 1 times number of columns minus 1. So, pila man ka rows ang nasa itong tipo? 2, right? 1, 2. Duha ka rows. Okay. So, it is 2 minus 1. Pila ka columns? 1, 2, 3. So, 3. So, 3 minus 1. 2 minus 1 is equals to 1. Times 3 minus 1. 2. So, 1 times 2 is equals to 2. So, our degrees of freedom is 2. Kaya nakuha naman ito atong alpha o ang degrees of freedom. Makuha na nato atong critical value. So, our step 4. Okay. Kuhaan na to atong critical value through the alpha and degrees of freedom. Critical value. So, by the use of the Chi-Squarw table, if ang alpha is 0.05 and our degrees of freedom is 2. Ang atong critical value is 5.99. Okay. Kaya nakuha naman itong critical value. Let's go to step 4. Step 4. Okay, step 4. Okay, so step 4 is state the decision rule. Okay. Rule sa Chi-Squarw Test. Okay, rule. Ang rule sa Chi-Squarw Test is if the calculated Chi-Squarw value is greater than the calculated critical value. What is a critical value? 5.99, right? 5.99. So we reject the null hypothesis. Reject the null hypothesis. So if ang calculated Chi-Squarw value is mas dako pa sa calculated, the Chi-Squarw critical value, I reject na to ang null hypothesis. If ang calculated Chi-Squarw value is lesser than the Chi-Squarw critical value, we accept the null hypothesis. Unsa to, if mas dako gani greater than ang calculated Chi-Squarw value sa Chi-Squarw critical value, I reject na to ang null hypothesis. If lesser than, i-accept na to atong null hypothesis. Okay, mano ang rule sa Chi-Squarw Test. Okay. Step 5. Okay, step 5 is calculate the test statistics. Okay. X squared, the formula is, okay, the formula is calculated Chi-Squarw is equals to the sum, okay, the sum of the observed value minus the expected value squared over expected value. Here. Okay. Pero, sa ato ang table, okay, look, sa atong table, observe lang na we don't have yet the expected value. Kaning mga number is observed value pa na sila. So, pangitaon sa nato una ang atong expected value. So, pagpangita sa atong expected value, the formula is expected is equals to row total times column total over n. Okay, the n is the overall total. Okay, expected sa atong unang kwaon. Okay, the formula. Kanisa na ha? Formula. Okay, formula. Okay, dara tong table. Okay. Okay, kita na. Okay, tira tong table para dali makita. Okay. Expected row 1, column 1 is equals to row 1. Pila man ka total ang nasa row 1? 310, right? So, 310, tara ito ang formula. 310 tas column total. First column total is 203. So, times 223. 223 over and the overall total. Our overall total is 630. So, buta na itong 630. Okay, our expected row 1, column 2 is equals to row 1, 310. The overall total, row 1 is 310 times the overall total in column 2 is 252 times 252 over 630. Expected row 1, column 3 is equals to magyapon 310. The overall total of row 1, 310 times the total of column 3 is 155. 155 over, and the overall total is 630. Okay. Kaya wala ta sa row 1, sa row 2 na seta. Okay. Expected row 2, column 1 is equals to, okay, unsa man ang overall total sa row 2? 320. 320 times overall total of column 1 is 223. 223 over the overall total 630. Expected column 2, row 2, column 2 is equals to, okay, 320 over total of column 2 is 252 over the overall total is 630. The expected row 2, column 3 is equals to 320. Marag yapon, 320 times column 3, 155 over 630. So, nagkahuman ana, solve na nato silang tanan. Okay, data. Butangan ito na yung ubos. Row 1, column 1, row 1, column 2, row 1, column 3, row 2, column 1, row 2, column 2, row 2, column 3. Okay. Sa row 1, column 1 ta. 310 times 223 divided by 630 is equals to 110. 310 times 252 divide 630 is equals to 124. 124. 310 times 155 divide 630 is 76. Row 2 na ta. 320 times 223 over, divide 630 is equals to 113. Row 2, column 2, 320 times 252 divided by 630 is equals to 128. Row 2, column 3, 320 times 155 divided by 630 is equals to 79. So, kani sila, mao niya ato ang expected value. Okay, para dili maglibog. Okay, para dili maglibog is atuan is siyang itapa di ari. Okay. 110, 124, 76, 113, 128, 79. So, mo nitong observed value. Mo nitong expected value. Okay, kana naman the expected value, magamit na nato ni nga formula kani nga itong gilatangan ganina kung wala pa man tayo expected. So, yes. Okay. Isa to, ang formula sa pagkuha is the calculated chi-square value is equals to the sum of the observed value minus negative value squared divided by the expected value. Okay. Row 1. Atuan na sa lang tagsa-tagsaon. Okay. Row 1, column 1 is equals to observed value. Okay. I-minus nato sila observed or expected. So this is 76 minus 110 squared divided by expected value. Ang may expected value 110. So it is 110. Okay, row 1, column 2 is equals to maro gyapon ani 143 i-minus ni ang observed ang expected. 143 minus 124 squared over 124. Row 1, column 3 is equals to 91 minus 76 squared divided by ang expected 76. Okay. Row 2, column 1 is equals to 147. Our observed is 147. Ang expected is 110 minus 113 squared divided by atong expected is 110. Oh my god, 113. Row 2, column 2 is 109 minus 128 squared. Expected is 128. Row 2, column 3 is equals to 64 minus 79 squared over 79. Okay, sakto ra ba tanan? Okay, sakto na. So, equals na, i-plus na to, i-add, ang answer nilang tanan, ang answer nila tagsa-tagsa is i-add na to tanan. So, it is equals 76 minus 110. The answer is, 76 minus 110. Okay, 147 minus 110. 113. Oh my god. 113 is equals to 34. Nya squared man siya. So 34 times 34 is equals to 1,156. I-divide na to sa atong expected value sa 110 divided by 113. 113 is equals to 10.23. So this wait. Okay, balik ko na to. Isa 147 minus 113 is 34. 34 times 34 is equals to 1,156. I-divide ito sa ating expected value ang 113 is equals to 10.23. Na-error sa ko ang pag-calculate. Okay. Balik ko na to. 76 minus 110. So, it's negative 34. So, ang atong negative 34. Kay squared man, ang i-times nato is negative 34. So, negative 68 divided by 110. Okay. Row 1, column 1, 76 minus 110 is negative 34. So, okay, squared man siya ang negative 34, i-times na to og negative 34. Divided by 110 is equals to 10.51. Tapos, i-plus na to na siya sa row 1, column 2. 143 minus 124 squared divided by 124 is equals to 2.91. Plus 91. This is 91. I'm sorry. 91 minus 76 squared divided by 76 is equals to 2.96. Plus 147 minus 113 squared divided by 113 is equals to 10.23. Plus 109 minus 128 squared divided by 128 is 2.82. And the last one is 64 minus 79 squared divided by 79 is equals to 2.85. Okay. So, the answer of this all, ang answer tanan ani i-add na to silang tanan is 32.28. So, this is our calculated chi-square value. Okay, remember the rule. If mas dako gani ang atong calculated chi-square value sa calculated critical value, i-reject ito ang null hypothesis. If ang calculated chi-square value is lesser than the calculated critical value, the 5.99, i-accept na ito ang null hypothesis. So, Ate Giselle will take place if i-accept pa nato or i-reject atong null hypothesis. That's all.
The null hypothesis is rejected because, as we all knew, the rule that if the calculated chi-square value is malabaw pa sa critical value, we reject ang null hypothesis. Therefore, dependent each variable.
Gale, yes na lang yun.
Gali.